Okay, in this video we're going to talk about the difference between complementary and supplementary angles. Complementary are angles that have a sum measure of 90 degrees, and supplementary have a sum measure of 180 degrees. If we think about a 90-degree angle, it would be, two angles that could be added together, this plus this, and both these angles would have a sum measure of 90 degrees. If we, on the other hand, had supplementary angles, well then angle A plus angle B would have a sum measure of 180 degrees. And a little short, kind of trick that I use to remember the difference is, if you think in terms of a straight line is always 180 degrees, and S is the first letter in the word supplementary. And a corner, or a right angle, is going to be have a measure of 90 degrees. And corner, the first letter in corner is a C. So corner, complementary, supplementary starts with an S, like a straight line. Just might help you remember the difference between the two. Okay, so let's look at some examples of complementary angles. I have two different examples here. And the thing that you just want to realize is that if you're given the angle D, B, C, and you're given that that angle is equal to 50 degrees, that's not such a great D, and they're asking you to find the measure of angle ABD, find that measure. Well, you know that angle DBC is 50 degrees, and you know DBC plus ABD is going to equal the entire corner, and the entire corner is 90 degrees. So really you can look at it as 50 degrees plus some unknown X value right here is equal to 90 degrees, okay? And so obviously that X is going to equal 40 degrees. Let's look at another one here. In this corner, we have EFH, so we have angle EFH is equal to 60 degrees. And if they're asking you to find the value of HFG, what is the value of HFG? Well, you know 60 degrees plus some X value has to equal 90 degrees, because that's what this corner is right here. It's a 90-degree corner. So these are complementary angles, and then of course if you did it like a one-step equation, you know that X has to be equal to 30 degrees. So this would be 30 degrees, okay? So pretty straightforward. Now let's look at some supplementary angles. Supplementary, remember S for straight line, and any straight line has to equal 180 degrees, okay? So let me move this down. This says 180 degrees here. And so this 40 plus an X value is going to equal 180 degrees. So let's write that. 40 plus X equals 180. So if we take away 40 on both sides, we know X is equal to 140 degrees. Okay, so that's the value of X there. And in this, this pair of supplementary angles, we know that this entire thing here, these two angles, they're on top of a straight line. So we know X plus 50 degrees is going to be equal to 180. And if we take away 50 on both sides, then we know X is equal to 130 degrees, okay? pretty straightforward. You can do these in your head, most likely. But if you did need to show work, which usually you do, this is one way that you could do that, okay? So, and by the way, you can, if you extended this line, you would see this is a half a circle. And you know, if you have a full circle, it's 360, but if you had half that circle, you would have 180 degrees, right? So another way to think about it. So in this last example, you're going to see complementary and supplementary angles in one picture. And if they're asking you to, let's say, find the unknown angles, X and Y, let's say. Well, you've got a lot of clues here as to how to go about that. You can think of it in terms of D, let's see if this is Q. DQF being a right angle, you know these two together have to be 90 degrees. And DQA would be another 90 degrees because this is a perpendicular line which makes two right angles, right? So then this would have to be 60 plus something that would equal 90. So this has to be, X has to be 30. And this would be 50 plus something that would equal another 90. And so this would, Y would have to be 40 degrees. And you know, if you go ahead and add all of those up, you have 60 and 40, 100 plus 50 and 30, and you have 180, which again is that half a circle. So that's it. Those are some basic examples, should help you through the most basic problems with supplementary and complementary angles. So I noticed in looking back at the video, the problem on the bottom right got cut off. So there it is. One-step equation. It's pretty simple. And then here's that problem. Some things are getting cut off, but there you go.